You told me before we joined that you would, savage me a little bit.
No, I just said that if you're coming on the panel, you have to expect savagery because it comes
Yeah.
out naturally. It's just one of those things, right? But luckily, you've got a teammate beside you. You've got, like,
I mean, I saw you back there with your notepad. Like, it's what I want to say.
It's like a meme notepad or something. That's Sir Actions, mate. You're getting us confused here, Moo. Draft is underway. We've had the 4 bans and we've had our first pick as well. Invoker and the Life Stealer. Not a big surprise to see Liquid knocking those 2 out, and the Lycan has gone. LGD didn't like that at all. And the first pick, Phoenix.
Yeah, interesting. They brought September on board as largely because of his pub performance on Phoenix. I believe he's sort of like the pub version of his pub. Phoenix is like Will's Visage. He's got like some ridiculous number of games on the hero, and they're going back to it here. They've not shown this look very often in this tournament.
What do you make of the low win rates on Phoenix at this tournament? It's been very low. It's gone as low as 27% at one point. It's bumped back up a little bit now, but not much.
It's kind of interesting. It really is, because we all went into this event thinking Phoenix is broken, like it's too strong, you know. And I don't know, the hero it feels like it lacks just in some aspects, right? It's not that strong in lane. It's not really that great of a roamer. It kind of needs level 3 before he starts killing, and it kind of limits the other supports that you can pick with it. Right. Like, you can't pick this roamer with Phoenix anymore, because then your safe lane is really weak, right? Yep. So that's why it's kind of iffy with that hero, I think.
I think we saw LGD pick it with an AA, and
obviously Lifestealer is good against it. Beastmaster started getting through the pool. He's also very good against Phoenix. Yeah. So yeah. It's
just about the meta changes, isn't it?
Yeah, it happened naturally, I think.
But let's talk though about this Liquid Open though, because they picked this in their first losers bracket match. They picked this second phase against Call. We've seen some of the teams from other regions open with this. What's Liquid thinking? This is not a look that they've shown, at least in their first 2. Anything in particular against the Phoenix that you like here?
I like Disruptor.
Okay.
Disruptor's good, and this Tide doesn't really care. Like, they can crack and shell off the Fire Spirits. They're pretty tanky, and in lane, this 40 damage Phoenix is gonna hit Tide. It's just gonna stand there like a big watermelon, and just soak it up.
It's definitely good on level 1, but if Phoenix does get level 2 or 3, they can kill the Tidehunter, I think, with another support. But I think they do it mainly to, like, against Phoenix, you kind of want to match their team fight to a certain extent. And right now, both teams have incredible team fight already, just from their 2 first picks, right? The Beastmaster Phoenix combo they're very good together, these 2 heroes. And I mean, same goes for Disruptor and Tide. So these openings they're very good.
Standard. I was wondering what they were gonna pick with Liquid, because the last, like, I don't know, 7 games they've had, like 5 of them they've had Lifestealer, and the other ones they've had this Lycan, right? And so they got Slark is the answer, and Slark's really good. It's pretty good versus Phoenix. The Echo Saber does work on Egg, so it's nice.
Well, I mean, it fits with this trend of having a mobile carry that can get into the back lines, can pressure the enemy support, like you said, can kill the Egg. But this is, the thing for me already is, these are just 3 heroes. This is like LGD's absolute comfort zone. If I had to make a list of 3 hero opens that I would not want to give LGD, this would probably be at the top, just because obviously we talked about September on the Phoenix, but then MMY line, obviously probably his best hero in my opinion, and Jowett on the Beastmaster.
I'd like to see a Void for LGD, honestly.
Void carry Void at this point?
Carry Void.
So you still think that's pretty good?
I think it's good this game. I mean, no matter what you chrono here, it's gonna be nice. This Tide, you kill him before Ravage, but you're gonna win the fight. And if you kill his Slark during chrono, it's gonna be nice. And you already have the Phoenix. And Lion's pretty good with Void too.
I mean, these 3 heroes are really good together: Lion, Beastmaster, Phoenix. Because now you have this other support that I was talking about with Phoenix that it complements it well, right? You have this disable guy, you have this strong lane that if you get the Hex off, you can Sunray. That's Alchemist.
Yeah, that's a Fata Alchemist.
Yeah, I mean, that's how the draft just turns, now it's that kind of game. And yeah, the cores are really crucial of LGD. Can they like make this draft really good, or can they somehow just, they need to pick some cores that are...
And they go back to the Timber Cell. I mean, this game's a little bit better for them because the only disable is Disruptor, whereas before you had this Dragon Knight with the stun, and you had this really long Night Stalker Silence.
Yes, and they have a lot of disable this time around. They have teamfight and disable, and they still have to pick a carry last.
Disruptor Timber is pretty nice because you can see where the glimpse is going, and then you can just line up all your spells. And
it's pretty cool that they still go for it, even though they lost with it in the first game, because it is a very different scenario. Like we said, they have so much more stuff in their draft. Like last game, it was kind of they had like a Ricky in there and some Rubik.
Ricky
their
Rubik
lineup
does not make for very good team fight.
Kind of goofy, but this time around they're just really solid overall.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to me. First of all, how do you guys feel about the lane matchup between the Alchemist and the Timbersaw? And second, we saw a big part of that early game in the last game was defined by LGD's inability to gank Fata's Dragon Knight mid. Do you guys think with this lineup especially the Alchemist was a little more vulnerable?
I think already in a just one-on-one matchup, Timbersaw kind of destroys Alchemist. It comes down to bouncy runes, of course, as always with that hero early game, but you know, Timber's gonna be totally fine in that mid lane. Like, he doesn't need any help, and if any help comes, then it's a pretty easy kill as well. Like, even a Phoenix can slow the Alchemist, and you might be able to kill him with just a dive and a Sunray, you know? And if Lion comes there, it's also very easy. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how if they can pull off this Alchemist, because Timber is a pretty good matchup.
Liquid does have a last pick support though. It could help a lot. Some kind of more roaming hero to help this Alchemist. I mean,
Tusk.
I mean, I don't even know if you can afford to start helping this Alchemist, because he's already up against a Timbersaw, and it's hard to shut down a Timbersaw with an Alchemist as a support. You know? Oh, nice. That's cool.
All right. And this is actually what I wanted to see too. There's some kind of carry that can push a little bit, because they don't really have tower damage. Like, Beastmaster's pretty good, but you obviously need something to combo with it to really take a benefit of the attack damage.
We played against this hero, and it has maybe been seen as an unpickable hero and as a joke a bit, but it was not a joke.
No, well, it not only
really
wiped you guys out, but it's been played twice and won twice here as well, both times.
Fnatic played it.
It's the Sunder.
Yeah, it's terrifying actually.
Yes.
The cast range on Sunder.
All his spells are actually ridiculously good, if you think about it. The first skill is also really, really good. Yeah. Like in this scenario, he steals the auras too, I believe, right?
Yes, he does.
So he steals Radiance, he steals potentially AC or Shivas later on and stuff.
This mech that's untied, this armor, you know, if they don't have one.
Wonder how it works with Slark hitting himself.
Doesn't pass.
Because it doesn't do anything. But I mean, regardless, it's a strong hero.
So why hasn't it been picked up more?
I don't think people really. I mean, it's kind of a forgotten hero, right? Yeah. But I mean, it's not a hero you can first to either, you know, because he does have his counters.
He has 500 health.
Yeah, he does.
For about 20 minutes in the game. So, but when you have these heroes like Tide's really sad now, because he's just gonna get smacked by this Terror Blade.
Going with a bounty.
Yeah, this is the roaming hero I wanted to see. That's gonna help out the lanes a little bit. Yeah. Maybe Tide will get something now, and because it's gonna be. But this Lion Phoenix is no joke either for a support duo.
Yeah, that's the same concern though that we had in the last game. Is the Invis hero going to get enough done early game? Ricky, I thought, did in terms of giving them scouting information.
I feel like it's a hard game for Bounty, because he goes mid and this Timbersaw is not going to do anything.
Yeah.
He can go to the Tides lane maybe and look at the supports, make sure they don't smoke, help out the Tide a little bit, but I feel like Tide is not going to get that much out of it. So he can shut down the Beastmaster completely, and that is maybe the best choice for him.
Yeah, maybe that's what they wanted for him.
I think that's the best choice.
This Beastmaster can definitely mess with Disruptor Slark.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your thoughts. We'll get more from our panel, of course, at the end of the second game. Will it be the last game of the night? Well, LGD have to step up because Liquid are on the cusp. Let's go back to our commentary team. Cap, it's all yours.
Good question indeed. Is it going to be the last game of the night? We're about to find out as LGD versus Team Liquid. It's about to start now.
For battle.
So plenty of questions about the effectiveness of this bounty pickup for Liquid in that last pick. Ben, what are your thoughts?
Overall, I think it was a much better draft from LGD, not giving them Slardar and Lifestealer, which was their downfall last game. Yeah, the Bounty Hunter, I would say a lot of the times it's better than the Riki, because if you don't have that early game impact, you can still contribute to the team fights with the track, as opposed to the Riki last game, who was very useless after 10-15 minutes time.
Doesn't have the same kind of longevity as the Riki. If the Riki does start getting some actual gold, he can actually become a damage dealer, but much more of a utility role for the bounty hunter as the game starts going later and later. What do you think the key moments are? Because we're seeing this weird late game matchup where we have both a Slark as well as an Alchemist for Liquid facing up against a Timbersaw and Terrorblade for LGD. Where do you really see the peaks and valleys between these two teams' kind of core timings?
I think thinking about the late game is fast forwarding way too much to where Terrorblade's biggest strength is, which is just pushing down towers as 5. And I think the better question is which team has better team fight. And I think Liquid maybe not that great at the anti-push with the Bounty Hunter and the Alchemist, but it all depends on how much this Alchemist gets. And he has a very difficult lane ahead of him.
Very much based around the timings Liquid's team fight is between the Disruptor and the obvious Ravage from our Tide Hunter. Meanwhile, LGD just have the longer cooldown of Supernova, but that's pretty much it. The rest of their heroes, very team fight focused and rather low cooldown between Beastmaster, Lion, Timbersaw, and then as you said, they're able to follow that up with the Terrorblade. This is going to be a lot of pressure on Liquid in that 30-minute marker. We're going to see our lanes break down, maybe facing up against Fana, where I already had the analyst talk about how strong that matchup is going to be to the favor of maybe, so he has the opportunity to get an early advantage and have maybe a better performance than he did last game around. Meanwhile, this bottom lane is going to be completely abandoned by Liquid to start with, as the Tide Hunter is Iron Taloning his way through the jungle. Kuro just here to soak up some experience, but is going to be scouted out by Sep as he lays down a counter ward. Tries to man fight a little bit, but of course the Phoenix with no armor and Bounty Hunter with plenty of it can't really win that 1 versus 1.
Kuro had to be careful not to give Xiaowei too much space. He is just Iron Talon, no Stout Shield, but he's actually not taking any damage at all, being very careful to micro these Centaurs to be near max range, and maybe he's not an easy kill in mid. So it looks like just the supports on the side of Liquid, just trying to get some levels, mostly Disruptor just chilling.
And takes the last hit, Kuro. We've seen this before, the Riki and the Bounty Hunter trying to stop the Beastmaster jungles, and as you pointed out, the fact is the Beastmaster is able to keep himself rather healthy the way he jungles off his boars, and as well as doing a little bit of Iron Talon action. Doesn't really tank that much, so it's unlikely that we're going to see the Bounty Hunter actually see an opportunity for a kill against that jungler, but he can soak up half the experience and just be a general nuisance, trying to slow him down as much as possible. 2-minute rune, battle, Kuro will be able to sneak that one as well. The man is good on his timings, it seems, against LGD in these first 2 minutes.
Overall, a little sad, though, for Liquid. Fada not getting that Bounty rune. They would have much preferred that Kuro gets the Arcane rune so he can throw some added pressure with the Shadow Walk.
Yeah.
But not that big of a deal for them.
He will get a lot of damage on MMY, accidentally sneaks the range creep out of lane, but that's okay. It's not really messing with the creep equilibrium at all, as there's no other hero in this lane anyway, so Kuro will gladly take all the experience he can get his hands on while Mind Control continues to do his jungling bit. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we haven't really talked about that too much. We see a very similar situation with Sep as the Phoenix is going to try and soak up the experience at top lane. And with him having that easy escape mechanism of Icarus Dive, should be able to do all right as long as he doesn't get caught out by Glimpse perfectly timed by Jarex.
And Mind Control is just jungling full-time now with the Iron Talon. He is already level 4, so 1 full level ahead of Xiaowei because he doesn't have that pesky Bounty Hunter dealing with him. Sep in a fair amount of trouble in this top lane.
Goes for the Icarus Dive forward here and does have the TP out. Jarex is not going to be able to get the vision in time. Unable to get the glimpse to stop the TP.
A little bit of panic there from him. I think it would have been much more efficient for him to TP to the T1, but when you're just scared about dying, you double-click that double-click that TP as fast as you can.
Acid Spray going to town. Our mid lane CS 15-2 on the Alchemist compared to Timbersaw's 20-6. Maybe is indeed holding on to an early advantage. And this is something that our analysts also pointed out, the fact that Bounty Hunter can't really have an impact in this lane. It's not like the Alchemist is going to be looking for a kill and the Timbersaw already is at an advantage.
He's a little lower than normal. He opted for the same build as last game, the 2-1-1, no 2 points in reactive armor, so he won't get topped off. And I think you actually want the extra regen and the extra armor versus Acid Spray, a physical spell.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Try and draw the creep aggro, get that regen, start pumping in. Kuro actually does rotate himself across, but he's going to be scattered out by that counter ward that was laid. Maybe does manage to get a refill on his bottle, though. That was rather critical.
And deny Fada the bounty rune again.
Yeah. Regen, meanwhile, in the bottom lane. Going to be picked up by MMY. Aggressive is going to be free farming away, both him and the Slark. Having great times there. Obviously, the Terrorblade is going to be able to amp up the tempo if we can push this forward to 20 minutes, and both these carries are still free farming. Slark's, his playstyle is going to be much more pick-off oriented, while the Terrorblade, a lot more team fight and pushing style from him.
He can pick up his Aquila already. He has the Ring of Prot, he has the Wraith Band, and can just sneak to the side shop and...
Almost a bit of deja vu there. Curl unable to snipe the last hit on the big Centaur. Now tries to go for some damage on his Zhao 8 before invising once again. Forced maybe to come across, trying to get some damage on a blind Whirling Death and Timber Chain combo, but Kuro did sidestep that one, and really that's just time lost there for maybe.
I think it's a smart move from Michael to move to the right side. He was originally farming the Dire jungle, and now he's on the right side, so if he does sense a Terrorblade push, he can just go to the lane and save that T1 tower.
Right.
So smart play by him.
That's something that Bounty Hunter, he was trying to be there in that bottom lane. The actual push, he wouldn't be able to stop anything of it. He would just be there for experience alone. The Tide, with his level progression, certainly can do something there.
So there is a dust on Sep. They do have a scan if they want to try and find out Kuro.
Here comes the push at bottom. Tidehunter is going to rotate, but he's going to need some help, and it looks like it's going to come in the form of an early Alchemist rotation. Of course, Mind Control by himself, he's not able to usually rely on the Anchor Smash against Terrorblade, so he will tank a lot of damage if he tries to man-fight against Aggressive. Maybe he does need that extra help.
He didn't even drop an
through. They're actually going to go for Kuro. Will be able to pop him. First Blood going the way of Maybe. Off to an early start there with both his laning phase matchup and now the extra boost of gold from First Blood, setting Maybe up for success in this game.
And Fada did manage to get that stack over there. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to stop this push, though.
Yeah, Fada, he rotated all the way across. It's really surprising he didn't lay down the acid spray quite early.
He got the stack in a bounty rune.
Yeah, that's...
But it's just strange for them when they have the bounty hunter sitting mid, because you know the Alchemist is not doing stacks, so Jarex has been constantly present on the top lane, and right. You have the Tide Hunter doing the jungle, so it's kind of like, where is the Alchemist?
Speaking of Kuro, Sep is going to try and go for him again, managed to get the dust, dives right on by, and a hit and run from Maybe as he hastes his way out of there.
And then a TP from Jarex gets immediately canceled. T1 tower.
Oh, he's going to try and go back in here against Fada. Chemical Rage does go out, and that will probably stop the aggressiveness of Maybe. Can't eat through the Alchemist fast enough to beat the Chemical Rage.
So not sure what build Matoma Man is going for. Just a standard Trezakila. Is Blink better than Shadowblade here?
Blink would allow him to be able to get on the back line to heroes like the Lion or the Phoenix, perhaps force out an early Supernova, a dive that they don't want to.
Yeah, he can get good solo picks on the Lion, but I think overall in team fights it's much better with the Blink Dagger.
They're going to try and go on Fada again. They do manage to get the Primal Roar on him. Sunray through the backup, and the pure damage rips through Fada. They now look for a counter kill, but it's just not going to be fast enough, or maybe it is. Flips back. Oh, long range Timber Chain, but it's not good enough. The Ravage holds him in place. Mind Control with the extra bit of commitment there, but it works out, trading 1 for 1.
Definitely worth it for them. They need to relieve some of this pressure off Alchemist. Right now, they don't have control of the runes. They don't have control of the mid lane. They already lost a tower on bottom, and Tidehunter has been jungling for quite some time. Still, they will have their mech at a reasonable timing if he continues this jungling pace. However, they need more stacks for the Alchemist, and it looks like they do have quite a few of them.
One of the things I've always noticed about Matamba Man, no matter what kind of core he's playing, whenever he sees these kind of rotations, he always pressures the tower. You would see other carries at this point on a Slark rotate back to the jungle and start bombing through that, but Matamba Man, and I think that's kind of the influence of Kuro, you know, wants to be able to pressure these towers as quick as possible, even if he's not the greatest carry for it. LGD, obviously, able to put on the pressure and pick it up a lot earlier, as Aggressive rotates into the mid lane with his Terrorblade. Knowing the Ravage is down makes it an easy objective for
Kuro
LGD
might
to take.
pop a smoke.
He rotates
Oh,
at
he
the
pops
right
up
time.
smoke.
Yeah. His smoke's going to pop, and Sep actually starts backing himself away while the rest of his team does push forward. Looks like they managed to find one here. Jarex is going to be hit by the stun, and quite easily taken out by Maybe.
It was smart step to just stay in the back. If the bounty hunter has eyes on him, it's very unusual to have like a two-man smoke.
Oh, mind control trying to help out Fana, but they have the Sunray. This and the finger of death as well. The burst damage between the Timber Saw and the Lion is too much for the Alchemist to be able to handle. It seems like LGD have this Alk hard countered for the first 30 minutes of this game. He's going to need a real big pick-me-up if he wants to be able to maintain that large net worth lead that Alchemists are supposed to have against opposing carries. Kuro, meanwhile, still trying to pick up his level 6, but even then, not sure if Team Liquid are going to be able to do much when it comes to getting track kills. If LGD stay a little bit more 5-man, can't see the Slark really getting pickoffs, nor am I completely sure that Liquid can win team fights.
They have good tools to deal with the Alchemist armlet. The finger that we just saw, Timber Saw with his Chakram, and Sunray, I think, are all good at bursting him down when he's at very, very low HP. Yeah. Liquid can't really make a move right now with Ravage still on cooldown, but with the mech coming out pretty soon, it may be time. And Kuro needs level 6. Let's see who uses a tome. Both tomes purchased. Looks like Phoenix one, Bounty Hunter the other. It won't get him 6 though.
Yeah, he's still just on the cusp there. Needs probably a full wave of experience solo just to be able to pick up his level 6, but that's fine. Fada is still making use of the stacks in the jungle, so they do have a few more seconds to work with here. Try and get that bounty up and going. Meanwhile, we have a very large ancient stack as well for the Radiant side. Our Slark for Liquid is also free farming away, is going to be going a Shadow Blade in this game. Silver Edge actually really valuable against the Timber Saw, so that actually makes a good amount of sense.
Still, they don't have too many tools to deal with the Terrorblade. I think he's going to be the main damage dealer in the team fights.
Yeah. He's certainly going to be a dangerous one, especially with all the space he's been receiving. 5k net worth lead for him. They do have a really aggressive ward, though, on the side of Liquid near that secret shop that just scattered out the smoke of LGD as they wrap through the safe lane. Liquid, quick to abandon that, will stick around the bottom half of the map. Wonder what they're going to do with their positioning besides just farming up this ancient stack.
I mean, that's a big stack. That's an objective in itself, Cap.
I guess so. Between the Acid Spray and the Anchor Smash, they should be able to clear through it relatively quickly. LGD perhaps using their positioning to pressure the mid-tier 2 as they all of a sudden pop out of that smoke and start banging on the doors of the tier 2. Liquid won't be able to rotate fast enough or be ready to defend, maybe. Does scout out some of these heroes with his haste, starts making his way through Liquid's jungle area, but it looks like finally the stack is complete.
And both sentry wards just outside of each other's range, so Matama Man will not be able to go in there safely.
LGD do start backing themselves out. They got a tier 2 in exchange for that stack. I think they're happy enough with it. The mech complete for mind control, and they'll start building towards that blink dagger. But LGD, knowing that Liquid are on the bottom half of the map and there's no easy way for them to get to the tier 1 to defend, they're just not set up for it. LGD will take yet another free tower.
And the Shadow Blade versus the Blink decision on Matama Man. The Shadow Blade, I think, is better at this point in the game. It's better for vision, but it might bite him when Beastmaster gets his Nectar 3, because then he can't use that as a tool of regeneration in team fights.
It seems like LGD going to try and get a bit greedy here, both taking the tier 1 at top and defending bottom lane. And as the Phoenix shows, there's a smoke. Liquid will take this fight rather happily. Matama Man's going to lead the initiation on his Xiao 8. They still have the Ravage as well, so this is not a fight that LGD can really try and take. Or maybe they can with the Primal Roar. They're actually getting a little bit more damage on the Chakram, and they burst him down! The Ravage is too late, too shallow to catch Xiao 8. Mind Control lost, and Asajj will be able to barely get the pick up, but now maybe he's going to be controlled by Jerix with that Static Storm, and Liquid still pick up the better of the engagement. But considering that was supposed to be Liquid's surprise initiation on LGD and they lost Matama Man, they are going to be rather disappointed. They're going to get a third kill though on MMY, it seems like, with a track and the inevitable glimpse back. It seems they should be able to get it. Bounty Hunter will claim the kill.
Yeah, Majestic just not enough there. However, LGD still have a window at this point. There is no Radiance out for Fada, and the Tidehunter cooldown is 110 seconds away from being able to Ravage again. And that was, I think LGD made a best of a bad situation. I'm very surprised that they committed like 3 heroes up there and then the 2 other heroes just ditched.
Matama Man looking for another surprise initiation, but counter ward already laid in place, and he knows it too, as his ultimate and the creep start aggroing onto him. So just cleans up the creep wave, defends the tier 2, and starts pushing it out. Kuro getting some information. 14-1 on Bounty Hunter.
Terrorblade getting very farmed, not quite close to the Alchemist, but still has his main items, Creds, Lance, almost Yasha complete. And Timber, he looked kind of poor, but now he has his completed Bloodstone.
Yeah, this is a very crucial time for both of these two teams, as you have LGD ready to force some more fights and perhaps start racking up those Bloodstone charges, while Liquid with this Radiance may be able to win the next team fight and slow down the aggression of LGD. We'll have to see. The initiation is going to be key here for LGD. If they can get the right kind of jump on the Alchemist and burst him down before Liquid can respond, a good shot at being able to take that fight. But Liquid are claiming a tier 1 while LGD are looking for a pick.
I wonder if LGD regret the decision to take that T1 top. They really wanted to control the Ancients. They had scouted out earlier when they wanted to push the mid T1 and then the T2, but they weren't able to stop that Ancient farm. And Alchemist just kept farming that, and has a very timely Radiance. The T1 tower doesn't really give them that much. I guess Liquid do utilize the jungle quite well with the Tidehunter and the Alchemist and the Slark, but still the Ancients farm was the majority of their gold.
Yeah, you could see the way Liquid really prioritized that one too. They had the information about rotations of LGD and used that time to clear through the Ancients and got that mech that's online, got a good amount of experience from it as well.
Did he see that smoke with a Hawk? I don't think so.
It doesn't seem like LGD in position to be able to defend this one, maybe on the front lines. He's going to be a little bit danger there with the Disruptor, but seems to be okay for now. Lion managed to get the disengage, does get hit by the stun as he tries to Timber Chain himself out. Now goes for the Ravage, only hitting on to Maybe. They're going to follow up the static storm. That doesn't even hold. Maybe is able to get himself out of that one, and Liquid now on full retreat as they realize both ultimates completely ineffective, and LGD now have the advantage.
Oh, Steph was in a really good position for that fight. He was like on the far right side, so there's almost no way that he could have gotten hit by the Ravage while still being able to channel Sunray for maximum effectiveness. And Liquid, yeah, they don't get anything out of that fight with their big team fight ultimates. However, they still have the Alchemist, so they don't really feel that worried.
LGD definitely going to be using this time to bully Liquid while they know the two ults are down. The question is, what is the main objective for them? Roshan is up. They only have the last tier 2 at the top lane. They may not feel like that's an objective they want to spend time on right now. They're just farming away.
And their indecisiveness may be further hampered by these deep observer wards that Kuro has planted. A lot of times when they just know they're not going to fight, they have Kuro on the other side of the map, knowing that LGD are going to be S5 and no way that they're going to be able to pick off the Bounty Hunter. However, Necro 3 is coming out fairly soon for Xiaowei, just 600 gold away from that.
Timber Chain through, looking to be able to catch the Alchemist. Fada, though, is away. The Chemical Rage rapidly healing him up. He's got the Boots of Travels as well, so LGD, they really need to actually claim those pickoffs when they see the opportunity. Otherwise, they're just going to get split pushed to death.
Yep. Yes, they are. Beastmaster looks like he completed Trinkles. No BOTs coming out for him. Timbersaw, I think, usually goes for BOTs at this point, and Terrorblade, he's not particularly good at pushing out side lanes just because his illusions don't last long enough. Maybe when he gets Manta he can, but yeah, I think that at this point, Liquid are very comfortable. They have a decent gold advantage with the Alchemist. He has all his core items up, 18 minutes in. You have the Armlet, the bots, and the Radiance, and LGD just don't have the
MMY leading the way. The Icarus dive slows down Fada, but it's not good enough for MMY to be able to get the stun onto the Alchemist. They were hoping to be able to burst down that hero while they know the Ravage is on cooldown for another 30 seconds. Not the case. Another missed opportunity, and now Liquid are going to be the ones on the offensive here. The Slark moving around with his invis. They're hoping with the help of the Bounty Hunter they can get a quick bounty kill and keep LGD a little bit off pace here. Sep is going to be the target, but not sure if they have the burst damage to really get him before Icarus Dive or Supernova. They start backing themselves away. The Hawk is doing some scouting here, and now Matumba Man realizes just how many heroes of LGD are actually here. His Invis rune.
The two heroes are from the side.
Oh, the smoke immediately rode to the Ravage! 5-man setup right into the static storm. The anvil gets dropped by LGD, and they take 4 just like that. An ultra kill for Jerix of all people. And now Maybe is looking for the great escape through the trees, but he's already been hit by the track. Liquid not going to try and go for the dive, though. Liquid see the opportunity to take a bigger objective in mind. They back up towards Roshan.
Wow, LGD's fight just way too slow, way too cumbersome at this point. They had the Hawk to see any potential invis reveal, but the Slark didn't have Shadow Blade up. He just had the invisibility rune, so no reason for him to pop up. And I think that lulled LGD into a false sense of security. Maybe it was just a bounty hunter at that point, but instead, the whole squad of Liquid, off the back of the new Blink Dagger from Mind Control, just annihilates LGD. So at this point, I think they have to defend against a split push a little bit better. They have to move around as 5, but they're getting out-farmed heavily by the Alchemist.
Yeah, they're supposed to have this key timing where their push, especially when certain things like Ravage and Static Storm are down, that LGD could, really 5-man and push objectives, but that's no longer the case. After a bad team fight like that, Liquid may actually hold the advantage in team fights just purely through a rather large gold and even bigger experience lead, and that really tells more of a story than anything. Alchemist naturally gives you a rather larger net worth lead over the enemy team with less impact, but the experience really shows how much Liquid have gained over the last few minutes.
I'm surprised they didn't push a lot harder after that Tidehunter ultimate and the Disruptor ultimate onto the Timbersaw, and that didn't get a kill. They got the T2 and they just backed off. I think they still had a lot of time left up on meta. They could have just went into the Roach. What are Liquid going to do without a Blink Dagger on Tide, without any of their teamfight ultimates up? And now it's too late. They take the fight to Liquid. They have the gold to compensate for their lack of teamfight.
One little bit of stalling, and LGD may have just spun out entirely. They do have the tier 2 at top lane been taken, but Liquid not even trying to contest while Ravage is down. Another 20 seconds left there, but they are picking up big time items. They've got the Echo Saver complete on the Slark. They also have perhaps an even bigger item about to be complete for the Alchemist. His Octarine may actually be done much sooner than many would expect. No early Manta though.
And LGD still falling behind in terms of items. They need a couple key items to regain map control. They have the Necro 3 on Beastmaster and the recently completed bots on the Timber, but they don't have a gem. They don't have even the Manta style up on Terrorblade. They don't have the Blink on the line, especially. Once they get the Blink on line and a gem, I think they can threaten some of Liquid's heroes. Bounty Hunter's just been running around the entire game, just getting vision, just trying to pop smokes, just being annoying to LGD. And even if they kill him, they still have the Alchemist as farming. So as long as they can prevent the Bounty Hunter from becoming a mobile observer ward, then Alchemist can just keep on doing whatever he wants to do, right? Which is getting out of control in that word.
Matubba can actually get a Silver Edge here rather soon if he wants to. Right now, he's sitting on the bottom half of the map, completely solo, and waiting for a single hero to show up, put some pressure there, maybe force LGD some rotations. Either way, he's just going to get some information no matter what, and is unlikely to die just due to the hard ways it is to be able to lock down a Slark. He sees Sep, he sees the Beastmaster, Terrorblade already shown himself, and Matubba just gets the hell out of there.
LGD clearly do not like being at a disadvantage for vision. They last banned the Night Stalker last game, but this game with the Slark and the Bounty Hunter, Liquid still have the edge in vision, and they have had it for the majority of the game, even though LGD has the Beastmaster.
Yeah, the double invis plus the aggressive wards that you pointed out from Kuro is really what set up that team fight where Liquid were able to get the big Ravage. Octarine now up, same goes with Silver Edge. The items continuing to flow in for Liquid. LGD not actually trying to get too panicked about things and go for a fast push that might end up costing them yet another dangerous team fight. They're actually sitting back and farming away for the time being, perhaps waiting for that second round of items after the Manta on aggressive, and it's actually our Timbersaw who's holding on to a large amount of gold in the bank, 2,700 for him.
So this is good and bad for Liquid. Good in the sense that they have the Midas on the Disruptor and they have an Alchemist on their team, so they're pulling decently far ahead in net worth, but bad for them in the fact that they have a Bounty Hunter, but they aren't able to use it as track. So, I don't know, I guess he's kind of like a Riki at this point, and if it erupts into huge brawls around the map, they will have that track available to them.
Yeah, in many ways, you could say that the Bounty Hunter last pick from Liquid wasn't meant to actually get too many track kills, right? Between the Slark as well as the Alchemist, they definitely have a team that would love to be able to just sit back and farm as much as they wanted, and it seemed like more the Bounty Hunter was, helper. Yeah, it seems like Bounty Hunter in some ways was kind of like just a deterrent in many ways to LGD's potential for aggression, and just a really good information. You pointed out LGD really do seem a little bit off kilter just because of always being at a vision disadvantage.
And it slowed down the Beastmaster in the early game, so it served multiple purposes in this early game.
Curl will reveal himself as he takes away the Hawk, but now they're going to find the initiation. Mind Control blinks himself forward, but not seeing the opportunity for a Ravage just yet. He's just going to leave Matumba Man to go for Zhao Wei, holding on to the Primal Roar, but a Static Storm makes sure that he does go down without an ult use. LGD get a lot of damage on him. Matumba Man now jumping forward with the Icarus dive. Supernova goes out. They need to pop this egg, and they do it now. They do get it just in time. The Ravage goes out. They turn on to Maybe, who's going to go down next, and Fada starts pushing forward against LGD. Aggressive. Tries to fight back, goes for Jerix. Many of the heroes of Liquid are quite low, but he is at a numbers disadvantage. If he gets popped here, managed to get the Thunder off, Fada can't burst him in time, and the finger attack takes him out instead. The burst damage from LGD easily outdoes what Fada thought he could take with his max HP. And Liquid do end up feeling a bit of recourse off that team fight, as they do still manage to get, LGD actually, maybe it was just because Liquid are so far ahead, managed to get a rather much larger gold and experience jump off of the team fight than Liquid did.
When you ever kill Alchemist, rain just pours down from, or gold just pours down from the sky. He's just Mr. Moneybags.
It really is. A pinata you've got to hit a lot of times, but once it gets popped, the goods start flowing. LGD very happy with that team fight, particularly with the Ravage blown as well. Static Storm, if that's a fight you can actually win, LGD might be able to pressure for more. There is still Roshan up. Other than that, I'm not sure if they can actually pressure by like going uphill at this point. It seems a little bit too early for that, but
nah, they have Terrorblade. They're okay. I think Timbersaw scales pretty well into the late game, one of the few spell damage dealers that does, because of his Scepter and just be incredibly tanky.
Yeah, pure damage in general, always valuable to have.
And percent based on the stat reduction. Overall, though, I think Liquid did a really good job of focusing down that egg. If that egg got off, like maybe Mind Control could have salvaged it by like kind of ravaging right before the egg went off to still stun the Phoenix as he comes out of the egg. I think that was what he was timing for, but when they killed the egg, it was already pretty good for them. No need for that perfect timing.
There are still some significant upgrades coming in from Liquid, such as the BKB on the Slark. Not sure how LGD are going to be able to deal with that at that point, because that means just the Dark Pact needs to be focused on the Primal Roar from Zhao Wei, and then everything else is, all the other disables that Matumba Man has to worry about are going to be dealt with by the BKB.
Yeah, still has Roar. And Terrorblade, or actually maybe has a BKB already. It's pretty early.
Maybe needed a way to be able to deal with the Glimpse and Static Storm from the Disruptor, most likely, so.
He just needs to be able to get in there, and he's one of the heroes that can, like, he's really good at killing a Slark during the Shadow Dance. I would say one of the best. It used to be like Shadow Fiend with his magic damage output. I think Timbersaw is equally good, if not better.
Right. Another ward being placed, Kuro, with the gem pickup, is wandering around with his Quelling Blade, taking away any of the vision that LGD try and lay out. Now, they are going to make their way over towards Roshan. A little bit later than I expected, just because now the Ravage and Static Storm are back up. But maybe they can still sneak this in, as it seems like Liquid may be too slow on the rotation to stop this.
They should maybe, but maybe has BOT, so they still don't know where all the other heroes are. I guess they don't really want to contest it at this point. I think the BKB from Timbersaw can be their trump card in the team fight for now, but yeah, BKB up on aggressive. Who's going to carry the Aegis? Maybe is their choice. He's a main heavy damage dealer.
Glimpse back. Timber Chain, not quite there. Jerix will be able to keep up the pressure at the top lane and maybe force another rotation from LGD over there. But they do almost have the Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster. That will give them a much healthier initiation that they were lacking before. They just had MMY. Now they can have initiation on two fronts that is near instant.
So what do you go for if you're Alchemist in this situation? Normally it'd be Shivas or AC, but you don't want to give more auras to the Terrorblade, like the panel mentioned, but those are generally your best items when you go to sort of he doesn't actually have a Manta yet.
Yeah, his choice of going Octarine before Manta, it seems like he's going to be ignoring the Manta entirely. As with his gold progression, he might have had to like just kill the Manta or swap it out rather early anyways, so seems like he just knows he has to go for this straight late game damage build. And Manta isn't going to be the item he wants in the late game.
Maybe he could pull a Scepter to Tidehunter. I think it'd be pretty useful in this situation. It'd also give him enough mana to use that refresher, which he's building up for right now. I don't think Disruptor necessarily needs it because he has a Midas and is farming quite well in this game. Jarex 5-1 and 6.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get an ultra kill as a support. Get that big boost of gold. Matamba Man gonna go for some chip on the mid-tier 1 tower, see if he can't backdoor it before LGD responds, but he plays it super safe and bounces before LGD even show themselves. Now on the hunt. The bottom lane, tier 2 still up, so he's not able to go too deep. Another ward is going to be countered. Kuro not able to keep up the cliff ward this time around.
So Fido looks like he's building a Manta. Not a huge surprise there.
Okay.
It's more surprising that he didn't get it before the upgrade.
Yeah, it's like if you're not going to go to the Manta, or if you're going to go to the Manta, why didn't he go it before?
I think he doesn't necessarily want it in a team fight versus the Timbersaw. The Timbersaw will just clear it immediately, and maybe just feeling that LGD were going to pressure a lot in the form of 5-on-5, and thinking that a split push wasn't going to be able to counteract that.
Yeah. So he'll now try and get that split push into play as LGD start mounting their push forward into to mid. They've got some pretty good control. Honestly, the side lanes aren't really that pushed out. It's not going to be a threat for quite some time. So LGD are in an okay position if they want to go high ground with this. Ooh, there's a very big pickup. The refresher now for mind control.
How is he so farmed? Dang.
Yeah. It is going to cost him his entire mana pool just to be able to get the double Ravage out. Meanwhile, maybe he could actually complete an Ags next if he wants to. You think that damage upgrade is the right play here?
Well, it's really good when they don't have any BKBs on Liquid.
Yeah.
Which Alchemist doesn't get until maybe 6th item at this point. And it also helps with farming a decent amount. He could also go for Octarine. That's a pickup that we see sometimes onto the Timbersaw. Especially if you're the main tank, I think you want Octarine so you stay alive much longer as opposed to an unchecked Timbersaw, which Shivas / Ags would be a lot better. And Liquid kind of is scared at this point. No BKBs up and 2 BKBs up
man
on
does manage to get off the Dark Pack. Finger Death being thrown on him. Ravage onto Maybe. And there's the refresh. Mind Control reposition himself for an even better one where Kant aggressive. And now they've taken 2. Maybe rips right on through with the Timber Chain, but he's on his lonesome. And he's fighting up against Matamba Man, who's just so damn big. Here comes the Unstable Concoction as well, holding Maybe into place. But they can't actually go for him. Matamba Man is going for the back line first. He gets September, now pops a BKB. Maybe will eventually fall, or maybe not. They're just not focusing him down because still has that Aegis. The buyback of the Terrorblade makes Liquid a bit scared of continuing that fight, so they retreat back to the safety of their base, only losing Kuro.
And that was a buyback from Aggressive.
Yep.
And he got back in there quickly. That was a 6-second blink Ravage from Titan. The first one he's like, I only hit the Timbersaw, but then he saw where the rest of LGD was. And I don't think Terrorblade was able to pop his BKB in time, maybe not realizing that Tidehunter did have his refresher at that point.
Right.
I don't think anyone expects a second Ravage this early, 30 minutes in.
Yeah, certainly not. Maybe shows up with his invis. Matamba Man is able to get away with an invis of his own, and now Maybe gets caught. They again leave him as the Aegis was getting close to expiring, but he does die underneath the acid spray, and we'll start backing up. Now LGD, just moments ago, they were looking good for a high ground push. Now it's a lot more questionable. With the buyback being used by Aggressive, if they try and force another fight and Liquid win it and take out that carry, they'll be down long enough that Liquid would be the ones that would maintain all the map control from there on out.
And LGD were doing pretty well. They held the gold lead against an Alchemist for maybe 12 minutes from like the 18 to 30 mark, but their BKB pickups did not pay off for them. Once you lose a big team fight after immediately picking up your BKBs, you know you're in a really bad spot.
Yeah.
So they need to be able to take out Roach at some point. I think if they can keep up the Roach lead, they can kind of keep up with Liquid's gold advantage. Matamba Man,
oh, they managed to get the Hex onto him. Once the Impale, they surrounded with Zhao Wei. An easy kill.
and luckily for Liquid, Bounty Hunter is still carrying the gem and not the Slark. You'll very commonly see a Slark pick up the gem after he gets his BKB.
Right.
So Liquid dodging a bullet right there.
Does take a little damage from that Sun Ray, forced himself back. LGD want to put some pressure on mid. 50 seconds left until Matamba Man's back up. Liquid.
And he doesn't have buyback.
Yeah, they don't have the defense just yet. Gonna try and slow this down by glimpsing maybe back. They have the Ravage up now, 40 seconds till the second one. Maybe with just a Ravage and the right kind of static storm, Liquid can defend this one 4 versus 5. But really, it's 3 versus 5 when you've got a Bounty Hunter on your team. There's not much that Kuro can do to help out with this push, but
Alchemist did a really good job of dragging that creep wave. They pinged it out. That creep wave is just way too far back.
yeah, so LGD actually have to abandon their push and wait for a better opportunity.
So next LGD conquest will be the Roshan. We see the Vlad's pick on the Beastmaster. Will make that a lot easier. Still no gem on the side of LGD. They were quite lucky that that sentry picked up the slot. They only have 2 sentries on the map.
Yes, it really does seem like an opportune time to pick up that gem too. And start taking away some of the aggressive wards from Team Liquid, such as once again this ward placed on the cliff is going to be taken out by Seth.
Now they do have the refresher ult up on Liquid, so this next Roshan could be a huge brawl.
Anticipating just a few more minutes until that potential timer for Roshan. Both teams going to be sitting back, not wanting to risk a pickoff right before Roshan could be up. Liquid just maintaining all 4 heroes behind the Alchemist, while LGD, knowing that Liquid probably not going to be the ones on the aggressive just yet, are keeping themselves in a defensive posture but spread out a lot more, getting some efficient jungling done.
Their items also suggest very defensive play. We see 2 Force Staffs, one from the Disruptor and one from the Bounty Hunter. Very good versus the Hex, the Blink Hex from Lion. Very good against the Beastmaster Roar so that Slark can pop his BKB and his ultimate. You do not want him to be focused down, especially if you don't have like a Venge Swap or something to save him. Yeah. So the Force Staffs will have to do in this situation.
2 minutes till Roshan is up. It's going to be a later one. And this will be a rather agonizingly slow time for both of these 2 teams, as they know one bad initiation, or maybe the right initiation, is all that's needed to be able to get a huge advantage on one side that could even spell the end of the game.
So Liquid just kind of pulled up into their base at the moment. Alchemist is actually not out of that control and net worth and maybe doing a fantastic job of keeping up with them. I think 20,000 versus 26,000 is very good for a Timbersaw in this stage of the game.
Yeah, and the Terrorblade is actually ahead of the Slark Beastmaster, close to contesting his counterpart and the Tidehunter. So all across the board, it is relatively even, considering Liquid are holding on to an Alchemist.
And Radiant just used their scan, and they suspect that Liquid's around the Roche, but they don't know that Roche isn't up at this moment. They use it at a secret shop. It checked out green, and not sure if they maybe checked it out a little bit late. Oh, another Blink Hex.
Managed to get the Hex onto Mataba Man. Now the jump in. Primal Roar from Zhao Wei, but it pops the Necronomicon, so his damage is going to be hugely delayed. Maybe he's there, but he's also a bit late to the party. And now it's Spada's turn to come in. Unstable Concoction ready to go, but he might just explode on himself as he gets stunned up. Now it's going to be up to Mind Control to be able to play the saving defense. Supernova is too much for him to handle. The rest of Liquid just back out. They're going to leave Matumba Man to his work as he managed to pop his ultimate and TP out successfully, getting the Lion kill. But there was really nothing they could do to save Fada during the duration of those BKBs from LGD.
That was such a tough pickle for Alchemist to deal with. He couldn't stun anyone aside from himself. He could have manted it out, but that timing is very difficult. That was his only way out of that situation.
And LGD going to be quite sad to see that Roshan is not up, because they definitely have the advantage in the team fight for now. But then again, they'd be playing against the Tidehunter, double Ravage plus Static Storm, so maybe Roche isn't something they want to try and take with just a 1-for-1 pickoff.
They do have the gem on the Beastmaster right now. Slark having to feel a little bit scared because of that.
Shiva's getting some vision down. He's going to rotate across. They manage to clip Kuro. He's going to get a Force Staff out of those Chakrams. And now they're just going to try and get some damage on Matumba Man, but he knows he's safe. Liquid start backing up as LGD go for the pursuit here. Unlikely to get any sort of catch.
They want to get back to this creep wave. This is where Fada might come in from. They were pinging on it. And still with double Ravage, LGD very unlikely to make a bold maneuver in a Roche. It's just very difficult to be able to pop your BKBs when you don't have vision on Liquid.
Yeah, Kuro actually missed the ward. He got the counter ward instead. Is going to go back for the Observer ward with the Quelling Blade. Will be able to deny that vision of LGD's. Kuro just will not quit with this cliff vision, man. He's laid this Roshan ward once or twice, but again, he's gotten that deep cliff ward next to that hard camp between the tier 2s. On LGD side, the initiation Hex, now Finger of Death, but the Ravage counter, and they've already taken out one. Mind Control needs a little bit of extra mana though, doesn't have enough for his second Ravage, and maybe he's going to be able to pin him in a corner. Mind Control is kind of stuck out here up against Timbersaw, looking to be able to burst him down, may not have the damage in time. Supernova laid out defensively, making sure Liquid won't be able to do much with their Slark. Kuro is still looking to get caught out, and he's got the gem too. They can't afford this pickoff. He's juking and jiving, but won't be able to make his way out of here. Zhao Wei kicks him in the shin straight to death. And gem drop. The Man immediately goes for his initiation, tries to recover the gem, goes for the pounce out. Will be able to make his escape, but wasn't able to grab the gem. Forced to pop the BKB. Maybe makes a long jump in and actually goes for the BKB TP out, lacking in mana. Vada looking for a jump here. Z-Step will be able to get that free kill. The gem returned back into the hands of Liquid.
So they got a fight back out of Liquid. It wasn't so bad, and now maybe he's gotten to that point where he's really big and really bad. If like Slark initiates on him, then Lion can just counter initiate and just kill the Slark. But if they don't, then he can just kind of find a tide and tide his force into a bad Ravage if they can't address his Timbersaw issue. But no one can really do damage to him. Alchemist is not good at single target, especially with his build. Maybe he had like a Mjolnir Basher, but that's coming way later.
They really want to focus maybe down. Aggressive is sitting on the side. Yeah, there, MMY. He's going to get picked off by Man. He sees the squishier target in mind. Mind Control. Holding. Now pops a Ravage for the EKB. Perfect time for Aggressive, and it might just be enough. No! Barely survives through that one. Maybe still going to look for the kill, but Aggressive, during his BKB time, he has to fight up against the two cores. Needs help, but maybe the sun comes in. Static Storm not going to be able to get a Thunder off this time. Now it's maybe against the world. All the reactive armor in the world just may not be enough to survive against these heroes. Zhao Wei comes in, unstable concussion, lands on him though. Primal Roar goes down, but it's too late, and it's just cleanup time for Man. Give me those stacks, he says. All the stats in the world. As now Liquid will take the extra life as Aegis should go into their hands.
Wow, Liquid did a really good job of isolating those support. They kited Timbersaw extremely well with those Force Staffs, and a perfect Static Storm drop on top of that Terrorblade after the BKB was down.
That will just be an Aegis' second Roshan game. 2 gems in the hands of 3, actually, in the hands of Liquid now. 2 in the Courier, 1 on our Bounty Hunter, and Aegis will go the way of Man. As he is very rapidly closing in on Abyssal Blade, some extra defense. Jarek is going to be hit by MMY, looks for the quick kill off of Finger of Death, but a Force Staff will be able to get him away, and now it's going to be MMY, the one in danger, as he gets glimpsed back straight into the hands of Fada. 14-22, Liquid really taking control now as the game pushes later and later. They've got the Aegis in their hands, and they're about to bring in some big-time net worth if they can take these objectives, but LGD are not going to let these tier 2s go down for free, and they might even be able to pick up Man, slowing him down dramatically with both the Shivas and double Chakrams. He's got to pounce away, but maybe this next round, not going to be able to catch Matambu, as he managed to get the invis, starts healing himself up, and he's got some support behind him too, just across the river.
And LGD are hurting in the detection department after losing all those gems.
They certainly are, and they're going to have Aghanim start flowing in through soon as well.
Yeah, now that Slark has Aegis, LGD have a real hard time initiating. I do not think they can pop Tide before he pops a Ravage. Maybe if Timbersaw has like an excellent initiation on them, but yeah, it's very hard for them. And probably need mass BKBs to deal with that. I don't even think 2 is enough.
Looks like I think they're giving this one away to Jarex, because while he did have the Midas, he's going all the mobility items, and if he can get a quick like 4-staff blink onto one of these heroes without the BKB,
yep,
this will mean an instant kill on someone like Terrorblade.
Yeah, and BKB is not a big issue for Liquid anymore.
No, they certainly aren't. So they will have the opportunity to initiate straight up with Jarex if they want to, or more than likely Mind Control if he gets the Ravage stun onto these heroes. I mean, it's at least 2 guaranteed kills, right? Double Ravage plus a Static Storm preventing BKBs. LGD, I don't know how they're going to be able to win this next team fight, but it's certainly not going to be through letting Liquid initiate on them.
Yeah, they need to
find an opening.
They need to jump Jarex and pop their BKBs preemptively, but they do not have any eyes on them, and Liquid will immediately smoke to not reveal the surprise.
They're going to cut their way through, and they're looking towards maybe. He is a tanky guy, 3k HP, Shiva's 38 armor. They start cutting the creep wave at the top lane, Man He's still got that Aegis, so he can go for some plays like this. Make sure that the top lane as well as bottom start pushing out while the rest of Liquid hold on middle.
And this could be a game-winning act, especially with Aggressive not having buyback, probably feeling very comfortable with his BKB.
Now, maybe does have buyback, and that's probably part of the reason why he's putting himself on the front lines here. But won't be able to stop the tier 2 from falling.
And still no eyes on Jerax.
See whether or not Liquid, where do they go from here? Do they try and back out and just go, yeah, it seems like they're going to back out and just go for the tier 2s. Take all the outer towers.
They need to make sure that LGD doesn't have vision in this area. Right. They can just keep camping out this area, knowing that LGD have to move out of their base at some point, or else Alchemist will just split push all 3 lanes in. So as long as they prevent LGD from setting up any vision, they're very comfortable.
There's a completed Scotty, a really big upgrade for a Terrorblade. As the stats come in for him, the illusion-based hero will be hitting a lot harder now, but we still have the predicament that one disable will lead to a chain that inevitably leads to his death.
And Kuro just slayed the Hawk. LGD, they're blind.
All right. Time for another Ags upgrade. Mind Control has the AoE Gush to throw down.
And Liquid, they still want to take a fight. They still do not know.
Oh, they're going to be jumped on here by Jiawei. The Primal Roar goes down, but the defensive Force Staff may not still be enough as they get the Finger of Death in, but an extra Force Staff comes into play, giving Fada the space to be able to back up and let his Chemical Rage heal him up. They take the Necronomicon Warrior out of the equation, and Liquid, now that they start healing themselves away, will look for the high ground push. They know LGD have blown significant cooldowns, particularly that Finger of Death.
Only 40 seconds left on the Aegis. The Tumba Man might go in real deep.
LGD, they just need to try and stall this one out until the Aegis is down. Chakram, of course, a great way to be able to do so, but he doesn't have the mana sustain quite behind him with only 8 Bloodstone charges. Something they're going to have to keep in mind. But Liquid actually stopped putting the pressure down. They have the Alchemist TP up to the top lane. He's going to get that one pushed forwards. Of course, he's not gone for long. They're actually going to go for a TP in. That was a dangerous one. They do manage to kill that melee creep in time before the Boots of Travel completes. I think they just saw that Fada was top lane, and they hope to be able to force a fight 4 versus 5, but Fada will be able to come back into play now. Boots of Travel combined with Octarine leaves a very limited window when he goes for these split pushes.
And unfortunately for Liquid, they will have control of this area, but it's almost a max Roche respawn. It was like 5:45 after the Aegis is down. So LGD, they have to move out of their base as 5 just to gain control of this one leftmost camp, and finally they'll be able to move out a little bit further.
Probably like the 5th or 6th time that Clifford has gone down, but Crow doesn't care. He's getting the information he needs. LGD start pushing themselves out. Liquid obviously have some idea with their vision going down that the LGD are grouped up in the mid lane, and they're getting plenty of opportunities to pressure the side lanes thanks to Matumba Man's movement as well as the Alchemist illusions in the bottom lane.
And Tidehunter has Axe.
Yep. He's got that AoE Gush into play. Fada's like Oprah, he's just giving the items away. He's got the Boots of Travel, level 2, he really doesn't need much more. Smoke up. Looking for something, but again, it's maybe on the front lines. They're not sure if they really want to blow everything they have, the big controlling abilities to take out maybe the Timber Saw, when that just leaves our Terrorblade a lot more free to do what he wants once that Static Storm is down. They look for the Glimpse play, just barely off the mark though, as we do have the TP back from Aggressive in time.
So I think at this point LGD have no real choice but to wait for Liquid to push up on the high ground and just stall until then, because Terrorblade still has a long way to go into. Oh, actually they're smoking outside of base right now.
Yeah, LGD want to try and see if they can get the initiation on Liquid.
They have an
Shao
ops
Wei.
ward at this point,
His
though.
smoke is going to be the first one pops. Doesn't have the quick reactions, though, to get off the Necronomicon. And now the fight's going to go nasty. And there goes the first Ravage. Doubles it up, but the aggressive managed to get off the BKB. Jarek's in the background still holding on to that Static Storm, while Fawn is going to be focused down by the Chakras. They are burning through all this one. September with a successful Supernova. Going to be able to go through the back line while Mind Control gets taken out by Aggressive's right click. They look for more. Finally, the Static Storm laid out, but Mind Control is not going to be safe for this one. Gets the pounce over the cliff. And that might just be enough to be able to get him to safety. Maybe it's going to be on hot pursuit, though. Misses one. Chakram gets the second one. It gets him in the end. The triple kill for Maybe.
Wow, how in
Liquid.
the world did they win that team fight? They had that vision on the high ground, and LGD just with that smoke at the perfect time.
Aggressive hasn't had the greatest series lately, not even the greatest tournament. It's oftentimes been maybe turning up to these games for LGD, but this time around, 2 different times where his quick reactions on BKB is what saves the team fight.
Like, that was incredible. I cannot believe that LGD won a fight with, like, there were 25,000 gold behind. Aggressive, he went in, he got the reflection on all of those heroes, so that he got it off on the Alchemist, got all those auras, and then he got it off on those heroes that really rely on the Blink Dagger. Tidehunter had a decent Ravage. They killed the Lion at the beginning of the fight, but everyone else popped their BKBs and went in.
LGD thinking, all right, it's time to force some buybacks, perhaps out of the Slark, but he doesn't even have one. He's 800 gold away. LGD can actually take this full lane of racks and maybe even more. There's no tier 2s. LGD might just be able to win this game outright off of one single mistake from Liquid.
That still blows my mind how they were able to win with that much gold deficit.
The gush, the harassment coming out from Liquid. They're trying to slow this one down, keep it at just 2 lanes of racks with 20 seconds left on the Slark. The Thunder goes down, full out heal from Aggressive. He knows his cooldown's going to be up potentially in time. The Static Storm goes out, but not able to hold the heroes, and the Glyphs not in the right position either. They get the melee racks, will retreat, leaving the ranged alive, but it doesn't matter. The damage is done. Liquid now have to return on playing the defensive. With 2 lanes down, the pressure always going to be up from these creeps.
So it goes back to LGD. How long were they just sitting in their base, and then they slowly moved out, got that little bit of vision down, and then waited for Liquid to finally move in a point where LGD had vision. They had that high ground ward, and I think that was like the only saving grace for them in that team fight. And LGD just waited so long for them to move into that area.
The creep equilibrium in their favor. They've got the vision advantage as well now, thanks to the gem. Double damage going to be picked up, and some man realizes that's going to be a pretty important one. Maybe actually still trying to challenge, though. Does get glimpsed back.
He's not scared.
No, he's certainly not. He knows his team will always be able to follow him back. Refresher on, oh man, that's actually a big one. The Beastmaster with double Primal Roars.
Timbersaw is almost equal to Alka net worth. He did give away two Ags, but Timbersaw does crazy damage output. Look at his items.
Yeah, Shiva's Octarine. He's going to have those low cooldowns. They're actually slowing down the Tumba Man, getting the burst damage out. Force Staff save isn't going to be enough. He has to blink himself and Force Staff himself away. Fada had the unstable concoction. Looks like they managed to catch out Kuro, though. So it is going to be a free kill, and it's actually a gem as well. They're going to pick that one up from Zhao 8 and LGD. They back themselves away, waiting on Roshan, which is just about to come up. Liquid don't want to give it up, though. They know how important this Aegis and Cheese is going to be for the next couple of team fights. So they actually immediately buy back on Kuro and look to be able to defend. Problem is, they still have to deal with this top lane push.
And Xiao 8 uses Refresher immediately. I think that's a good call because if Roshan's up, which it was like almost 11 minutes past, then he's going to need a second round of Necro Books. I think even more important than the Roar.
Holy cow, that Midas really kicking into play. Disruptor, given the Ags, actually has a Refresher. And this will not be revealed in the next team fight until perhaps it's too late for LGD. They've already beaten through half of Roshan's HP. They have themselves really well spread. Immediately, Matumba manages, links in, managed to get Hex. There goes the Ravage, up, down, hard. And now they're going to be able to take out 2. The Refresher goes out. Jarek looks for a second Static Storm, and it's going to be able to catch Aggressive alongside the Ravage. They're going to try and pop before the Thunder has an opportunity to go off, and they will. 3 down, LGD now starts throwing out the buyback. Supernova is going to successfully explode, though, and maybe we'll capitalize on that one. He sees Jarek's an opportunity, has him cornered, will be able to take him out with at least a Chakram as he burns through. No, he has to actually Timber change the
the other side, and Liquid, they've gotten yet another pickoff. Jarek's in the background, will eventually die here as Aggressive looks for more of these heroes. Vada, he's the low one, and he's the big core that he desperately needs to be able to take out of this fight. Vanta goes away, TP out, he knows they have no disables, they only have raw damage, and it's not enough. Liquid escape, they don't lose a hero, and now Ryan's gonna get picked off as well. Matama Man found that one. Somehow Liquid, they force that fight, they get the right kind of initiation, locking down Aggressive with the refreshers that they had. But it's not enough as LGD buy back and will be able to potentially still take a Roshan fight. But it's in a danger zone. They lose any one of these heroes, and that could be the end of the game. September tries to get away with Mash is there, and he gets taken out. Matama Man keeps on right-clicking away. Now on maybe, turns out Aggressive again. Pop the BKB, gets off the Thunder, but it's not much HP at all that he managed to get off. Gets hit by the unstable concussion, and he's down. 100 seconds, maybe locked inside the static storm as well, and that will just be it straight out. Death from Timbersaw, he has a buyback, but no Aggressive for a minute and a half. You can't imagine that Liquid, they have to go back, they have to defend, but they're certainly holding the advantage now.
That's a free range rack for them. I must say, Mind Control's been an absolute beast this series. First, in the first game on Slaughter, he had died a lot. He was like 1-6. He didn't have that much farm. He was still finding the best Sylvan crushes that you could find. This game, that Ravage that just set up on the two weak heroes, the Beastmaster and the Lion, just finding those heroes that don't have a BKB and popping them down immediately. However, Liquid are still not out of the woods yet because of the significant structural damage. Liquid have yet to even knock down a T3. And Alchemist is just has too much gold.
Yeah, LGD, they may be in trouble when it comes to the actual team fights of the late game now that you have Aegis and Cheese picked up by Liquid, and they still have 40 seconds with the Terrorblade is dead, but they do have an opportunity to be able to maybe make some sneaky plays, go straight up for Throne, even just a small misplay from Liquid as they try and push high ground could actually lead LGD into wiping them, and Liquid obviously, they're not holding on to too many of their buybacks. They only have the Slark and actually Timbersaw, the two heroes in this game that are holding on to buyback.
And LGDs are really struggling in the BKB department. Two of their heroes only have 5 seconds BKBs. The other three do not have BKBs at all. And that's just food for Tide and Disruptor.
Yeah. Chakram and Sunray spam is what's going to be there to try and keep Liquid back. Maybe jumping in with little fear.
Liquid can't afford this mistake though. If they fail this push, they likely get Megas, and even though LGD are really far behind in terms of gold, they can still lose. Like, as Terrorblade right now, I wonder if he's like considering a refresher orb at this point. It's really good for the super long cooldown metamorphosis, but more importantly for another full duration BKB, which is just imperative, I think, versus a Tidehunter.
Swapping out that Dragonlance, you mean, for...
I don't know if he wants to do that, though. Alternatively, you can get Satanic, but you can't pop Satanic during a Disruptor ulti. And the Disruptor ulti is a long duration, 7 seconds. They can keep him in place with the Kinetic Field, with Tidehunter Ravage, as well as the Slark Pounce and Abyssal. So it's not like he can just walk out of that Static Storm. So Aggressive probably in the tough pickle as to what item to go next. Not that it's that big of an issue. He doesn't have that much gold, but you still want to be considering it at this point.
Liquid making sure to push out all the lanes as best they can before they go for this high ground. They have plenty of time for the Aegis and Cheese before the Aegis expires, at least.
Yeah, and the net worth graph is just very deceptive at this point because Timbersaw, he has a Bloodstone in his stash, as well as 5,000 in his bank, so that's kind of 10,000 gone for LGD. And Liquid have like 8,300 sitting on the Alchemist right now, which he could pull Axe to deal, but that's a minimal effectiveness at this point.
Yeah, already the...
He gave one a Slark, actually.
The Axe upgrades are already taken from Liquid. They're just purely going to be stats from here on out. Slark needs every little bit of tankiness he could possibly get, though.
Yeah, he still doesn't have a Moon Charge, so he has a little bit of ways to go against DOT2, but might not get to that point. Liquid wanting to end this game right now with the Aegis.
They absolutely should. If they just draw this game out and they end up losing their Aegis due to the timer, that'll mean LGD then have the control just purely due to the fact that they have 2 lanes of Rax pushed in.
But Liquid needs structural damage.
Yeah,
they can't just sit outside of base and wait for LGD because LGD would just play like they did the last time. Just wait super patiently for the Aegis to expire and then take a fight once Liquid aren't expecting it or when LGD have vision.
So if you're Liquid, how do you set this team fight up? You have the Slark on the front lines just because he has the Aegis and him alone beating on that tier 3 tower.
Yeah, and then you could just force them out and then just reset. That's the beauty of Liquid's line that they have good reset tools with Shadow Dance and Chemical Rage.
Matamba Man takes a spitting of damage and will be able to get a defensive force staff. That'll be the play every single time from Liquid. He bounces right back in. The Chakram's down.
Nice glimpse from Jerax to stop that Sunray. But they just keep resetting. And with the Octarine on Alchemist, it's almost permanent Chemical Rage, and Matamba Man could just walk outside of vision. Bam, full HP.
Slowly but surely, they are chipping away at this tier 3 tower, but will it be fast enough? Matamba Man starts going for maybe. Nice stun there. Fada actually getting hit up. Will be forced to use the unstable concoction on the illusion. Now he's going to be the one pushing forward onto that tier 3. Swaps out with Matamba Man, who will finish it up. Still has that Terrorblade illusion on him, though.
That thing does a lot of
the
damage
heal.
at this point. Like, Terrorblade just doesn't scale with items. He also scales with the opponent's items, and they are very farmed.
Illusion pops. You start going for the melee racks. It may be worth it for LGD to continue to try and slow stall this one out. Nope, they're going to make their initiation. Tries to go from Matamba Man, managed to get off the Dark Pack. The Raps goes down, refresh and reassess. Looks like Liquid are going to try and go back in, but they're scared out by aggressive BKB. And there goes Kuro, just gets popped in the dragon. Now they jump in, re-ravage on the aggressive. They're going to be able to pop him. 80 seconds on the clock. Round 2, the Static Storm, they glimpse it back, will be able to catch out Wade. Chakram going in town. Maybe he can't do it alone, though. He needs some extra help. He's being beaten to death by Matamba Man. Reactive armor being jammed. He's just getting the stats up. Will go for Zhao Wei. Just fought back. And maybe he's taking a dieback kill before he gets off the Primal Roar. Maybe he just doesn't put out enough damage against this team, not by himself. The Sunray can't save him. He has a buyback, but it's just him and Sev against the world. And not even Sev can stick around as the Glimpse catches him, pulls him right back in. Liquid take out 4. There's the buyback. It's now up from aggressive. But will it be enough? These two heroes against the full 5-mana Liquid, and they're healthy too. The Chemical Rage has brought Fada back up to full HP, and Matamba Man's passive has almost done the same as well. They're going to go for the second lane of racks at bottom.
And I see Liquid pinging out on their T4s are scared of actually getting thrown at this moment.
They really are. They're going to TP one back already. That's going to be Fada. Now he does have that really low cooldown of the Boots of Travel, and he won't be gone for long. Liquid are going to play this as safe as humanly possible, perhaps fearing further buybacks. And with the 2 main cores of LGD back up, they consider this a win. They forced what they could, and if they win another team fight like that in the next 5 minutes, the game is completely over. There are no more second chances for LGD.
And no creeps yet. Aggressive doing a good job of pushing out the mid lane. And they will have to deal with backdoor protection. So at this point, yeah, LGD, Timbersaw had swapped out his BKB for a Dagon 5 and realizing, yeah, I need my BKB versus this.
Yeah, the burst damage, it's kind of okay just to be able to threaten the Slark, but unfortunately these heroes are so damn tanky, he can't actually kill one hero outright.
And they have just good tools of regenning back up. That's a very strong tool that Liquid has. Not only do they have good tower hitters, but they can reset very easily within like 5 or 10 seconds.
Aggressive, desperate for some positioning, desperate for some way to be able to threaten Liquid or perhaps open an endgame scenario. Does go for the push in the top lane, uses his Manta, even pop the BKB to make sure his TP out is successful.
Yeah, just a safe play. One death by him is just game over.
He did hide it, so Liquid obviously not going to know that the BKB is on cooldown. Not on cooldown for long anyway. The Illusion will be able to push forward, get some damage onto the tier 4s, it seems.
So at this point, LGD, they might be considering like a way to base race Liquid.
Yeah.
Because I think they have better base hitters. Terrorblade is really, really good, and Liquid have a superior team fight, but like Tidehunter with all these items, very bad at hitting a tower. Same with the Disruptor. Yeah. So I think like the Inner Beast combined with the Terrorblade will leave that as an option for them. However, I don't know how many BOTs they have. It looks like just 2 available for them.
And then you look at like Slark and Alchemist, while those heroes, it's blatant enough for the game that their physical damage is actually pretty dangerous, it's not going to match a Terrorblade when it comes to that push. So.
Yeah, but you'd be very sad if you were Liquid, you're pushing high ground, and then you just get backdoored, or you get your T4 taken out. So they need to make sure all 3 lanes are pushed out. LGD can still BOT on a Hawk, but still, if they have to go through backdoor protection, Liquid will almost certainly win that throne race.
Arcane Rune being saved here. They're going to give it over to Mind Control.
Wow, a Scythe on Disruptor. That is...
Jesus, Jerax, calm down. It all started with that Ultra kill into the Midas.
and it's been racking in the items ever since.
He's almost as farmed as the Terrorblade. He is just 4,000 net worth away, which is quite incredible. However, LGD going for a smoke right now, knowing that they're up against all odds, and Roshan very quick to respawn, can maybe save
and they
them
actually
from
get this
not having buyback.
initiation on the Matumba Man. He's already popped the Dark Pact.
Oh, the jig is up.
Yeah, it definitely is. Only one of the smokes pops, but that's all that's required. Now they're going to be able to see Timbersaw as well, even getting the track onto him.
And creeps are up in base. Time to start hitting towers.
Yeah, they've got the Arcane Rune still on mind control, so they want to try and make use of this if possible. The opportunity is set up. Aggressive is going to be initiated on him. Matumba Man, let's see if they can get the combo. He managed to get off the Sunder. Manta his way through with the BKB and will be able to make the escape. Ravage off the mark for mind control, but he's got a do-over as he refreshes. Looks for the initiation. Good force down save from Matumba Man as they manage to get the pounce away. Liquid defending their heroes beautifully as they start backing themselves out. Offensive GG. Maybe it is. It's Liquid. They may just be able to end this one. Vada lower. Jagged almost finished up entirely. Reject kicking into play. Gets off the Shivas. Is he going to survive from this? He will! Underneath the static storm, LGD can do nothing! A power chain away, Supernova up. Liquid can't force it in time, won't be able to take out the egg, and Kuro almost burns to death underneath that one. Liquid 3 versus 5. They see the opportunity to be able to get a glimpse as well. Zep isn't going to be able to make it out of here. This is going to be left entirely up to maybe to try and defend. Liquid, how can he possibly do this with only the magic damage and these hyper regen powers of Liquid? He can't actually burst through anybody.
Nah, Liquid know that they have it too.
Yeah.
They use just a solo ultimate onto the Terrorblade, knowing that he doesn't have buyback and they just have little fight left in them at this point.
They certainly do. They're going to be able to jump onto maybe here, beating him down with the Basher. BKB activated by maybe as he tries to make the jump away. Unstable Concoction thrown out for MMYs. The rest of the team focuses on the racks. The tier 4s are in a bit of trouble though. Back at base, Mind Control will defend that one, and now the numbers are a little bit more even, but it's 3 versus 4 inside the LGD base, and maybe he's the only damage dealer, and he's already down to half HP. Matumba Man beating through him, almost finished off, and he gets him in the end. A Thunder Strike from Jerix finishes off the big carry of LGD. 2 minutes down, and Liquid will slowly right-click their way to victory here on the main stage. Lower bracket Kings, it seems, is now that title is passed over to Liquid as they've made their way from the beginning. Dropped down by MVP, and they do O's all the way now as they've made top 3.
An impressive run from Liquid, and I think a good run from LGD too. I don't think that people consider them the second strongest Chinese team coming into there, and I think you have to applaud any team that can take a team fight against Liquid with 25,000 in the hole versus that sort of lineup. That was one of the most incredible team fights that I have seen.